thing I would say about him is he's very passionate about everything he does. That's definitely one of his most admirable traits. Everything he does wholeheartedly, and he loves it for every single minute.
When he's interested in something, he'll try to figure out how to do it or how to learn more about it, and he usually goes really deep on the things that he's interested in. Of course, he's musical. Music is his passion.
Once I sort of set my mind to it, I can just go at it and work at it for a really, really long time.
When he was 5 years old, he was going to kindergarten, and the kindergarten day was really short. And so we were kind of looking for something else for him to do with some of his time.
I had a neighbor whose name was Zoe, and she was 1 year older than me, and she played piano. And I remember one day I was over at her house, and I was like listening to her play, and I was like, I want to be able to do that. I was pretty jealous, actually. I was like, and so I just went home and I asked my mom, like, Mom, can I take piano lessons?
He just seemed interested in learning, and so that was kind of how we started. We had a great teacher.
After like 7 years of playing piano, I switched over to guitar.
Brad has always been a phenomenal guitarist because he knows melodic lines very well. He knows his theory, and he knows what notes to play and when to play them.
He was never really interested in classical music, so he would play things like the Star Wars theme song and his recitals, and some pop music and some rock music.
I never really wanted to be a singer, and it was almost a thing of necessity for 37th Parallel was the reason that I started singing.
So 37th Parallel started because I think AJ and Brad decided that they wanted to do a band a long time ago, and that wasn't really 37th Parallel, but then basically in 7th grade they had Philip, who's our keyboardist, they had him join.
So we got AJ to play drums for us, and then we were looking for a bass player, and there was this guy who played bass in like the middle school jazz band, and we brought him on.
Now this bass player wasn't as committed, and then eventually I got asked to join in 8th grade.
He had always wanted to start a band, so he would have friends over, and he would always want them to, you know, play music with him.
When you play music with someone, you just connect with them in this very kind of spiritual way, you know? We were putting on a backyard concert at the end of 8th grade in Eric's backyard just for some friends. We were playing a lot of songs. We were gonna play all of them instrumental, and like at one point I just said, this isn't gonna work. Like we can't like just play songs instrumentally. That doesn't sound very good.
The whole band decided that we wanted to take it to another level.
And so that day I was just like, you know what, I'll sing. So we pretty much rehearsed for 4 or 5 hours that day.
Brad sang most of the songs. I wasn't comfortable singing.
Somehow, I think we still managed to sound all right for a bunch of 8th grade kids who really had never played a live performance before. And then afterwards, I just remember one of my friends coming up and saying, like, to me and Eric, like, you guys are like the best singers in our whole grade. And I was like, man, our whole grade, it's like 150 people, but thanks. But that was kind of what started me singing, was that, you know, I got a lot of positive feedback from my friends after that performance. It was in a really safe environment.
Singing is kind of a new thing, and I think he took that on because there wasn't anyone else in the band who was interested in singing, so, and they wanted to have a lead singer.
We actually had a pretty good name. It was Mind the Gap. I thought that was interesting, you know, but then we found out there was another band that had Mind the Gap.
So we decided, hey, you know, we've got to change it. You know, this is clear, like, we're not going to be able to sell music, we're not going to be able to license anything. Like, it's all going to be an original name. What we did was we actually went on Wikipedia and we hit random article, and we kept on coming through certain things saying like, oh, you know, there's a scientist. Oh no, let's not name our band after that. And originally it was just a joke, joking around. Then we came across 77th Parallel. It was basically signifying somewhere on the globe. So what we did was then we decided, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we changed that to be our location?
And eventually we went with 37. It used to be that me and Eric would just call up places and be like, hey, we have a band, can we play? and that was never very effective. And then we like started entering competition-based things, you know, which is really what getting gigs is. It's all a competition. So Battle of the Bands was probably the first, you know, real public gig that we got at the Santa Cruz one. We entered into this contest and we got to play in the top 5 and got 2nd place. That was like a lot of fun. BFD was pretty cool too. That was like 270 bands. We won that, which was awesome.
He's definitely the most determined in this band, and he inspires me personally to become more focused on this band.
People still kind of think that we just don't know what we're doing, or that like we don't know how to play our instruments, you know, because they haven't seen us play. And so I think part of it is just you automatically start levels below people who are older than you, or people who aren't a high school band, just because of all of the negative stereotypes associated with high school bands. You know, they can't play, they're not serious, like, and they smoke weed all the time in practice. None of which are us.
We're a high school band. We're not seen as, you know, we're not given any credibility, but this is very real for us. Like, we have connections to Live 105. Live 105 loves us. They said they're gonna be following up on our careers, and they're gonna be watching us every step that we take.
The odds are pretty scary too, you know. I don't know, some very small percentage of people actually get to perform in amphitheaters, like, you know, in their career. But I think the consolation in that is that, yeah, some percentage of it is luck, but the big majority of it is being good, having good songs, making connections with people and knowing people, and practicing so hard that when the opportunity comes around, you are ready to just grab it, you know? You can't really say for something like 37th Parallel what's going to happen when we all go to college, you know? It's one of those thoughts where it's a little bit sad, because you think, well, what if it all just falls apart, you know? And all of this work that we've been doing amounts to nothing, you know? But I think that's a choice that needs to be made when it happens.
No matter what happens with this band, if this band gets famous, if this band crashes and kind of, you know, we do our own thing, he's gonna have a big career. He's gonna be a very well-known guitarist because he's phenomenal.
The most important thing is remembering that, you know, in the end, you're just doing something that you're passionate about. And if that passion goes away, or if you find out that passion's not there, you really shouldn't be doing it. Yeah, so late, I love you, but I should have kept my mouth
Brad, I said you're like a doge because you are like a doge, so there you go. I hear your laughter out in the front, probably talking about budgeting stuff. Good fun. Okay, well, keep up that dexterity, brother.